Hello, my name is Ray Salazar, and this is Morning Rio, a 200 minute or so podcast of films that I review of all nations, of all races, of all ethnicities, short, long, whatever it be, I review it. Today, I'm reviewing Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. It's a 2014 epic science fiction film, co-written, directed, and produced by Nolan. Let me go down this list. It was actually co-written with his brother, Jonathan Nolan, produced by Emma Thomas, who's his wife, Christopher Nolan, and Linda Obst, starring Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Bill Irwin, Ellen Burstyn, Michael Caine, and it's not listed here, but Casey Affleck, man. Cinematography by Hoyt van Hoytema, edited by Lee Smith, music by Hans Zimmer. Great music in this film. Production companies. Now this is a little weird. Legendary Pictures, Syncopy, and Linda Obst Productions, distributed by Paramount Pictures in North America, and on an international scale, Warner Brothers. Dun, dun, dun. This is a film that's 169 minutes. When I saw it, Google told me it's about 2 hours and 50 minutes or so. Basically almost a 3 hour film. It's a great 3 hour film. This is considered one of the greatest science fiction films of all time. I read I wrote a little thing about Interstellar not too long ago, well, a couple of years back, about how I feel that this film is the film of last decade, being that 2010 to 2019, 2020 or whatever. To me, is honestly one of the best films of all time because it deals with saving Earth, saving humanity. What a plot, right? Like what a plot. This ex-pilot engineer turned into a farmer has been chosen by NASA to save the world. As far as screenwriting is concerned, I mean, this is a complex film because it deals with science, it deals with physics, quantum theory, and all that stuff that like people like myself and blue collar workers they don't really know about it. So what we see in the film, what we witnessed, as far as how these characters interact with each other, we're just supposed to take it as it is. And the film is very good at convincing us that, especially with how the first act into the second act goes. Michael Caine's character basically asks Matthew McConaughey's character, like, hey, go to space, find these planets, and see if we can live on them, and then come back, or something. Can you do it? Earth is dying as we speak. There's not much time left, but I have a way to figure this out. And there's a twist in this film too, and oh man, I cannot spoil it from here on out. That's the whole plot. I will say though, the character of Matthew McConaughey, Cooper, he's a maverick. He is the man who, if there is not an answer, no matter what, we're gonna solve it some way, somehow. And that's what he did throughout this whole film. He figured stuff out, and he didn't do it alone. He had a great supporting cast, and even the supporting cast itself supports each other. And there are moments of certain characters where they have a moment where they're leading the scene or leading the storyline. Chastain playing Murph. I mean, great casting, man. Like, much like her father, a maverick. Like she's trying to figure stuff out, and it's funny because in the first act, she witnesses an anomaly of gravity. Right, like in her room, there's like a bunch of dust because there's like a dust bowl in the this place. This place takes in the future, like 2067 or whatever, but everything seems like how it is probably like in 2014 because that's when the film came out. Nothing is too like technically advanced. I mean, you see drones and Cooper's farm, right, which is like mostly like corn. They have these big old tractors that basically like through GPS technology or whatever, he was able to find a way where like the tractors can do the work automatically without a human being to actually operate the vehicle, the machine. It's impressive. This film touches on the subjects of like humanity and technology. It's almost neo-noirish, like can we coexist with technology? Can we coexist with robots, AI, and all that stuff? And it's funny, this film came out in 2014 and is already, you know, kicking the idea, well, not kicking the idea, but knocking the idea that, can this work? Will it work? Even though the plot is about saving humanity and all that stuff. There's one thing that I just picked up on, and it's the fact that this film is about humanity. Like, saving humanity, figuring something out, and it's taking one man to do that job. Imagine, like, NASA is basically giving the ultimate responsibility to this team so that either Earth can resustain itself or find a new place and make life there. I like how this film touches the subject of humanity, and Cooper's one for like, man, like, sooner or later we gotta get out of here. Like, everything's getting effed up. Like, everything around us. If things are messing up in this town, imagine what it is, throughout the whole globe, right? And a man like him, like Coop, he's a maverick. He's an explorer. I think in some weird way, Nolan was trying to tell us that we are not just meant to just settle. We are meant to go beyond of what we currently have. Like, we can never be comfortable. We can't, especially like Earth, man. Like, Earth's not our planet. It doesn't belong to us. We just happen to inhabit it. Simple as that. And right now, not to go off topic, but we're fucking this Earth up. We are. Just look around you. Look at things that are happening right now. And I'm not saying this film is foreshadowing Earth's ultimate demise, or rather our civilization, our demise, because one day, man, this is all gonna go. Either we're gonna go or the Earth's gonna go. One or the other, or both. I don't know. The Earth is riding on that tip. Even like the dialogue alone, when it comes to humanity, Coop, all he really cares about is saving his family, like making sure his family is good. That's like his whole thing. What he has left are his two children, his daughter and his son, and his father-in-law. Really, because without his father-in-law, like, there's no way Coop himself would be able to manage, right? So obviously the stakes are immediately high, and they go even higher, because now, like, when they're in space trying to go through this black hole to find other planets, you're just playing with time at this point, and time is so crucial. I mean, we're talking about a film here, and I mean, the writing is pretty good as far as like trying to be as realistic as possible when it comes to like physics, science, quantum theory, and all that stuff, stuff that I don't even know about. Like, there's this planet that they go to where every hour that they spent there is about 7 years on Earth. Like, Earth time. 7 years. Imagine spending an hour, but Earth is 7 years, dude. That's crazy. And again, with the humanity, they find Dr. Mann, which is the guy who basically kind of like inspired people to like to go through this wormhole, find these planets, see if they are inhabitable, and go from there. And there's a twist in this film, part of the film where Dr. Mann comes in, and played by Matt Damon, who does a pretty good job playing somewhat of a he's not a villain. He is an antagonist for sure, because he does steal the spotlight. He gives his own reasons as to why we had our shot as far as humanity is concerned. It's respectable, man, in a weird way, but at the same time, like, if there was any kind of villain, it would be him, because he's basically like killing the chances of humanity's survival. And then not only that, like, the film touches on love, not romance, nothing in that particular, just like love. Like, the reason why any of these people do this is because They got somebody that they love that's worth dying for, really. Because these people know that there is a big chance that they're not going to come back to Earth. And not only that, if they do come back to Earth, chances are the people that they cared about are already dead and they're the only ones alive. And it's because of time. But there's that thing about the film where like love transcends time and space. And it's crazy that how this film plays out, especially in the third act, how that topic of love transcending time and space works and gives us the key to saving Earth. I'm not going to spoil it what it is. I'm not going to give any information on that. It's crazy to think that if we are the masters of our race, if we are the masters of our species, I guess we are willing to do anything to not only survive, but to advance ourselves. Because the only way to really survive is to advance. And I think we are not only like capable of advancing, but not only that, we are capable of saving our own asses, capable of having a plan C when there is no plan B anymore. If we can time travel, that's it. We got it locked in. And the film kind of gives not hope to that, but it gives us a perspective that like we can set our minds to do anything that we want, especially if it's worth it. And Nolan made a film not only worth watching, but he's pretty much giving us the insight that we are worth it. We are capable. You know, if we want to save our Earth, we can. We know we can. It's just a matter of like, I hope this gives you enough insight as to why I think the film is not only great, but film of the of last decade. Because out of all the great films that came out last decade, and some of them are really, really good, I don't know, this film really kind of like touches humanity on an almost realistic level, you know. I mean, the stuff that you see in the film, obviously, like, we don't know if that's going to happen yet. We don't know if that's going to exist. Some of those things are already in the process, but a very primitive level, but in a technological advanced way, you know. Like right now, we are like considering robot cops, you know, like cops that are made out of this like animal looking android. That's our future. That's our future, man. Like, just think about that one little notion, you know. Think about it. Imagine there's going to be a city full of like robots, you know, and they're going to kind of like not make the laws, but they're kind of representing the law. We got to like be cool with that. It's a lot to ask a human for, you know, but we can do it. This film really touches the subject on humanity. It touches the notion that, like, you know, sooner or later we're going to have to coexist with technology on a very, very physical level, on a level where like we have to coexist. But at the end of the day, it will never take our desires. It will never take our, well, it shouldn't have to, right? But like, as technology is going right now, it's really getting in the way of how we operate, how we work, the ambitions that we want to take. It's there. Its film is very it's dangerous in a sense, because when you look at this film, you're gonna feel just not scared or not discouraged, but it's gonna make you think about, whoa, man, like, this is 2023. This film came out in 2014. This film said a lot of stuff about humans, time travel, technology, and here we are, and we are slowly becoming to experience those things, and it's already kind of nerve-wracking as it is. Imagine what it's going to be 40 years from now. Just wrap your head on that, because I have, which is why I give this film the greatest film of last decade. My name is Ray Salazar. Follow me on Morning Shot Films, IG and YouTube. Check out my website, morningshotfilms.co, where I got merch, where I put out this podcast, where I put the greatest updates of High and Hungry, a show where we review food. It's like if Guy Fieri smoked a fat ass joint and just review the food the way he does it. But it's hosted by E-Zone. Check him out. Next review, I'm going to put out the film called Past Lives. It's a film that was distributed by and produced by A24. It's a really good film about lost connections between humans, and it's a really nice film. Either way, I give this film, Interstellar, co-written and directed by Christopher Nolan, 4 out of 4 tokes. Being that it's a 4 out of 4 tokes, and being that I call it the film of the decade, I gotta give it the perfect film, because everything is there in this film: screenwriting, screen direction, the use of CGI, where I feel when you look at it, especially if you were to look at it on IMAX 70mm or 35mm, it just looks so beautiful. It's hard for you to kind of wrap around the notion that what I'm looking at is fake, but they make it look so good and realistic. That's all Nolan right there. He just wants to make us feel that, hey, even though this is fake, as far as the story is concerned, I want to give you your money's worth. I want to give it the studio's money's worth, and it's there. The music is great by Hans Zimmer, man. Like, it really like adds an extra layer of grit in this film, even in its most emotional moment too. And man, like I said, Nolan, he just knows how to make a movie, man. And he can make anything that he wants if he could, and I'm sure he can. But he can make anything he wants. And it's just crazy how he mixes the neo-noir, how he mixes science fiction, how he mixes the human connection, even if it's romance or not. The way he mixes it, the way he dabbles in that fort, putting all these kinds of pressure, all these kinds of stress, all these kinds of situations. He's able to do that, and he's able to do that so well. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Follow me, man. Rate and review this. I'm out.